Oh, there's some juicy new video in the UFO conspiracy world, and I'm loving this. This is Boyd Bushman. He was a senior scientist for Lockheed Martin, and among other places, he worked at Texas Instruments, Hughes Aircraft. He was very familiar with the on-site operations of Area 51. He had firsthand knowledge, and he recently passed away, but not before shooting what essentially amounts to a deathbed confessional of the activities in Area 51, and it's really fascinating. First, he says that he was good friends and close with people who were part of the operation that was founded by Dr. Edward Teller, who worked under Robert Oppenheimer, and this was, you know, after they invented the atomic bomb, went on to operate Area 51 in New Mexico. He also you know, he had a lot of pictures. He gave a camera of his, Instamatic camera, to these friends of his on the inside in Area 51 who went and took photos. And in this deathbed confession, he starts showing a lot of photos of these crafts. He said, these are the actual crafts. And this is the craft, he says, when it's not turned on. This is the craft taking off, turned on. As it's taking off, you'll see 3 versions of it for some reasons he can't explain. But then it gets even better because these crafts were operated by beings, and he has pictures. Let's take a look at his video revealing these pictures.
I asked them to tell me about who was flying these things. He therefore said, fine, they're approximately 5 feet, 4.5 to 5 feet tall. They had one or two of them around it that were 230 years old, and we have a total of at least 18 that exist.
Reaction?
Okay, several thoughts. Okay, so what are these beings doing in Area 51?
They're there
helping.
First of all, he did describe the original Roswell crash, which he says wasn't a crash at all. He has a first-hand account of the pilot who shot it down, who then landed and approached the craft on the ground. The door was open. One of the beings was walking around. He ducked down to get into the craft when he could see through the walls from the inside and saw the 3 other creatures were dead. But he says there's several creatures now there helping them do research, and he was friends with them. He's talking about how they communicate through telepathy, and the reason that this is important is because Mr. Bushman, being a senior scientist, came up with 27 patents, mostly for Lockheed Martin. It's all on record, and he's saying a lot of times those ideas for the patents came to him in these telepathic communications. He didn't even understand what it was that he was inventing, but he was just saying, his own voice was telling him, do this, do this, do this, do this, have somebody build this, and then he would see the result of it. So he was inventing things he didn't even understand. And so here's him talking about the method of communication.
I asked him how they communicate. He says, well, it's like this, Boyd. You all of a sudden have a question in your mind. You walk into a room with one of them, and all of a sudden you find yourself giving the answer to your question in your own voice. They're able to use your own voice by telepathy to talk to you. And I said, fine. Now that's how they look front. But when you turn around and look at the back, it's like that. Now notice that they have 3 backbones. They're actually cartilage. Nevertheless, it's a much more efficient system as ours. They also have 3 ribs in their system rather than more. This is also the back side.
Now, I know it's easy to discount him because, oh, he's just some old guy and he just sounds like he doesn't know what he's talking about. But there's other videos of him online, and when he's not as old and as feeble. He's clearly very lucid, very intelligent. He's legitimate. He was part of these projects, you know, very involved in the aerospace industry and part of the events on what is called Area 51. This is the first time somebody just pulled out a bunch of like home pictures that he like took to the photo mat and went like, oh yeah, that's the 3 spine, you know. I find it pretty fascinating.
Oh, it's yeah, absolutely fascinating. It would be great if it was true. I want it to be true.
He says that they're from a planet that's 68 light years away.
Okay.
And that they have a type of technology that they can go back and forth in a matter of 15 minutes. In fact,
15 minutes?
In the video, the full-length video, he shows other photos that were taken by the aliens, by these creatures from within inside their aircraft, from a different perspective than man has been in the solar system.
You're standing a bit Captain Kirk now, where no man's gone before. Hang on a second. You've got to tone down the rhetoric. If you're going to keep me on board here, you've got to keep it a little...
Well, imagine a friend of yours pulls out a snapshot and says, oh, here's a picture of Earth as taken from Jupiter.
So they gave the Instamatic camera that he's, just so I'm clear, they smuggled this Instamatic camera in, got his friend to do it, and then his friend gave it to the alien, who then took it on board his craft, took a photograph. No, just hang on a second. Took the photograph of the craft, and then took the photograph of the Earth from the craft, and then gave it back to him, and then they developed the photograph down at CVS.
Essentially,
is that what you're saying?
But the aliens were his friends.
Who? The insider?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. They're communicating through telepathy. How was he communicating with them? Because he's not telepathic, was he? Well, how are they communicating back?
Do you not hear my answer? Let us know your thoughts. Do you think it's for real? We love to know your thoughts, and thanks, as always, for subscribing to the Lip TV.